No, I've taken no such vows. Maker's breath. Can you speak of something else?
Very well, have it your way.
All I wanted to know.
We'll resume this conversation later, though.
Another time, then.
Another time is now.
Is there something you needed?
I should get to know you better. We are working together after all.
What would you like to know?
All right. Where are you from?
Oh, thank you. Didn't need that right now, though.
I was transferred to Kirkwall shortly after the Blight. This is the first I've returned in almost 10 years.
Jesus Christ, it's been that long? Fuck.
You haven't seen Ferelden in 10 years.
Because I
Are you
know...
glad to be back?
I was not supposed to leave at the time. I did not expect to return. Now, between the murder and the breach,
2 covered a time period of 7 years? Because it was 1 year from prologue to Act 1. Then it was 3 years from Act 1 to Act 2. And that was another 3 years from Act 2 to Act 3, right? So 7 years, I believe, was the time period? Or was the span of time across all of 2?
You were in Ferelden during the Blight. Did you fight Darkspawn?
no. I was stationed at Ferelden's Circle Tower. The Circle had troubles of its own. I remained there during the Blight.
Oh, we know what happened. Blood mages.
Circle Tower.
You who survived the Blight have fond memories of that time. I would prefer not to speak of it.
Very well, very well. We won't dig up any bad memories. Kirkwall was... Tell me about Kirkwall.
While I was there, Canary occupied and then attacked the city. The Viscount's murder caused political unrest. Relations between mages and Templars fell apart. An apostate blew up the Chantry, and the Knight Commander went mad. Other than that, it was fine.
Let's not forget, Cullen's the one that stood up against Meredith at the end of 2.
What happened between Kirkwall
Which I believe,
and Templars?
you know, was a big move for him, because, I mean, that was him kind of
Must have heard people speak.
standing up against, you know, tyranny.
You were there.
There was tension between mages and Templars long before I arrived. Eventually, it reached a breaking point. There was fighting in the streets. Abominations began killing both sides. It was a nightmare.
What happened then?
The Templars should have restored order, but Red Lyrium had driven Knight Commander Meredith mad. She threatened to kill Kirkwall's champion, turned on her own men. I'm not sure how far she would have gone. Too far.
So you opposed her?
I stood with the champion against her, in the end. I should have seen through Meredith sooner.
Yeah, Varys from Kirkwall. You know him, don't you?
Kirkwall. Did you
He
two know
was-
each other?
Usually hanging around Hawk, right?
Champion of Kirkwall, but little else. We've spoken more since I joined the Inquisition, largely at Barrett's insistence. Apparently, I spend too much time with a serious expression on my face, and it's bad for my health.
At least frown lines.
I'll let you return to your work.
Another time, then. Was there
Wait, one last question, last question.
What do you think of the people you work with?
Who do you mean?
Or I guess 3
What do you
questions.
think of our ambassador?
We have little in common. How she delights in meeting with nobles all day is beyond me. But I enjoy working with her.
How do you like working with Leliana?
The Inquisition would not exist without her. I may not always agree with her methods, but she's more passionate about our cause than anyone. Cassandra may have declared the Inquisition publicly, but Liliana is just as responsible for its formation.
And our soldiers, how are they doing?
Satisfied with the Inquisition's forces?
Our numbers are small, but they suit our needs for the time being. Some Templars have joined us instead of following the Order. They've proven invaluable in training new recruits.
I should let you get back to work.
You know, Cassandra's over here. Let's talk to her because she's, you know, a party member. Building her relationship with her is rather important. Let's flirt with her a little bit.
You're kind of a force of nature.
She appreciates a little bit of
When
flattery.
I need to be.
It's impressive.
You flatter me.
I'm trying.
Did I do the right thing? What I have set in motion here could destroy everything I have revered my whole life. One day they may write about me as a traitor, a madwoman, a fool. And they may be right.
What does your faith tell you?
I believe you are innocent. I believe more is going on here than we can see. And I believe no one else cares to do anything about it. They will stand in the fire and complain that it is hot.
That would be the convenient route
But
to
is
take.
this the
People like
Maker's will?
convenience.
I can only guess.
You don't think I'm the Herald of Andraste?
I think you were sent to help us. I hope you were. But the Maker's help takes many forms. Sometimes it's difficult to discern who it truly benefits, or how.
Kind of wish the camera angle didn't like zoom past their swords and they keep getting in the way every once in a while. That's a wee bit annoying.
What's going to happen now?
Now, we deal with the Chantry's panic over you before they do even more harm. Then we close the breach. We are the only ones who can. After that, we find out who is responsible for this chaos, and we end them. And if there are consequences
make it sound so
to be
simple.
paid for what I have done, I pay them. I only pray the price is not too high.
You're a little late to be regretting it now.
Isn't it a bit late to worry about it now?
We have only just begun. My trainers always said, Cassandra, you are too brash. You must think before you act. I see what must be done, and I do it. I see no point in running around in circles like a dog chasing its tail.
Well, you know, sometimes patience
But
is
I misjudged you in the beginning, did I
is
not?
important. So you
I
don't, you
thought
know,
the answer was before me. Clear
act
as day.
ahead of
I cannot afford to be so
act ahead of
careless
yourself.
again.
It wasn't like you had no reason to suspect me.
I was determined to have someone answer for what happened. Anyone. You've said you believe you're chosen. Does that mean you believe in the Maker?
Not in your god, but I believe in mine.
I'm Dalish. I believe in our own gods.
And there's no room among your gods for one more? I suppose it doesn't matter now. I have to believe we were put on this path for a reason, even if you do not. Now it simply remains to see where it leads us.
I'm not done talking to you yet. Hang on.
It occurs to me I don't actually know much about you.
What do you want to know?
I'm not sure. Where are you from?
Free marches.
My clan never stayed in one place for long, though we primarily roamed the free marches.
Oh, I didn't think your people roamed that far north. But clearly I'm mistaken. I'm told some members of your clan might still be alive. Do you intend to go back?
Why would they not be alive? I mean, they weren't here.
Wherever I am is home enough for me.
That's how I feel now, after years of tending to business for the divine.
It would save
May I
talking about herself
ask you about the
for
Chantry?
last.
It is difficult to say what becomes of the Chantry now. They have no Templars, no leadership, and no one left who is worthy of succeeding the divine. It has fallen apart when everyone needs it the most. I ache to think what this will mean in the days to come.
Do you really believe the Chantry
Should the
will
biggest
work?
religion in the entire world be
do.
saved?
Though I understand how someone born outside of human society might think otherwise. Cast the Chantry aside and new problems replace old ones. We will have learned nothing from history. The people need stability, and the Chantry needs a new purpose. Andraste had a dream for us. It can still be achieved.
And that new purpose being?
What should this new purpose be?
A dedication to what is truly important. Instead of building cathedrals and sewing gowns for the divine, the Chantry used to spend its coin feeding the poor. If we are to spread the Maker's word across the world, we must do so with open hearts and open hands.
That sounds rather idealistic of you.
Does it? I do not think it's so unachievable. The Chantry has many good, honest people. They just need direction and inspiration. They need to be freed from centuries of adherence to tradition and ceremony. A chance for renewal is at our fingertips. It does not have to come with utter chaos.
Right. So who is the dickhead? Who is he?
What influence does Chancellor Roderick really wield?
He's a bureaucrat, responsible for communicating the Divine's will to the rest of the Chantry. Therefore, he's accustomed to the clerics hanging on his every word.
Oh, whoa! Was that the game starting, or was that my? Oh no, it's an overload. Why is it overloading?
He's frightened and believes his place is to fill the gap left by Most Holy's death. Some might agree. As far down the chain of command as he is, there is no one left above him.
And will we have to worry about him being a pain in the ass later on, or what's the deal there?
No more than he is already. He sent his message to the College of Clerics. That is the only card he had to play. Dealing with him further only lends him credibility he doesn't deserve.
So ignore him. Got it.
Will the Chantry replace Divine Justinia?
Kinda have to.
Once the priests withdraw for the Grand Consensus, it is against Chantry law for them to emerge without naming a new divine. Sometimes it takes days, or weeks, or even months. The problem now is that no clear successor to Justinia exists. All worthy clerics died with her at the conclave.
So that's not good for them.
So what happens if they can't agree on someone?
Theoretically, they will argue until exhaustion takes them or they see reason. Practically, however, if the Grand Consensus goes on too long, the Chantry will crumble. Any cleric with ambition but little sense will see this as her one chance, and plenty of such clerics exist. We shall see what happens. The Inquisition must act in the meantime.
Yeah, we can't wait around for them. We got to act on our own, huh?
Choose a new divine. Will you serve her?
That depends on whether she would have me. I am a rebel now, remember? And even if she would, I do not know. It would depend on what type of divine she is. I am no longer in a position to follow blindly, and no new divine could expect such obedience now.
I'm surprised you rebelled against the Chantry.
I left my own order when they took the wrong path. It is no different.
I guess
But
you have a
neither
point there.
did I stop caring. Indeed, I care so much that I feel drastic action is necessary. I suppose history shall one day judge my actions.
Thank you.
Can I? Oh, I can. Okay. Hang on. Do I have? You can't wear that yet, huh? At level 8? Fuck me. Let's give her what we can in the moment. 69. 64. Alright, Varric has the Amulet of Power, which gets him a free level. Not a level, but like a free skill point.
Do you need something?
I do indeed. Tell me more about your group.
The Seekers of Truth were born from the original Inquisition long ago, when it united with the Chantry. Seekers stood above the Templars, watching over them but also investigating magical events they couldn't handle. We were meant to be incorruptible, above reproach. How seldom does reality match the ideal?
No group with power is incorruptible.
What
You know what they say about power.
Those who know anything of us think we are Templars. We do not use lyrium, however. Our abilities are different, as was our original purpose. We disciplined the Templars and were accountable only to the Divine, and not even her, truthfully.
So nobody ever watched over the Seekers?
It was the Divine's duty, but she could only do so much when the truth was hidden from her. The Templars have always feared us. When a Seeker arrived at a circle, they knew trouble was afoot. That kind of power is troubling. You begin to think you are the only one who can solve the world's problems. If you don't see a problem,
I mean,
doesn't
sometimes it
exist.
is the case though, such as this one where I'm the solution to that problem right up there.
Do you think that kind of problem could ever be fixed?
Possibly. Though the Seekers themselves would need to change. They were clearly not willing to, even though they abandoned everything they stood for to avoid it. In my heart, I believe they can still be salvaged, but not by their own hands.
So by mine then, I'm the one's got to go and save them.
Abilities than Templars.
Entirely. A Templar's abilities come from lyrium and are designed to hunt mages. Ours come from ritual and many years of dedicated training. We cannot be possessed by demons and are immune to mind control. Useful considering our role. Seekers can gain other gifts, though that depends on the individual.
No, wasn't the saying that only mages can be possessed by demons?
What kind
Is it that special that you can't be?
I can set delirium within a person's blood aflame. Both mages and Templars bend before my will. Some Seekers use it to interrogate, others simply to paralyze. Once there was a Seeker who could use it to kill. That particular gift is considered rare.
And why did they rebel, huh? Same reason as the Templars?
turn against the Chantry?
We originally united with the Chantry through a treaty that stated they would keep mages under control. It was felt Most Holy had tacitly allowed the Circle of Magi to vote on its independence, thus breaking the treaty. The Seekers saw themselves as justified, and they led the Templars into a war of righteousness.
You clearly don't agree, otherwise you wouldn't be here.
We knew what was happening at Kirkwall, where the Mage Rebellion began. We looked into reports of Knight Commander Meredith's harsh treatment of her charges years earlier. But we found so many shocking cases of magical corruption, it was decided her actions were justified. If we'd been there when it happened, if we'd looked harder at the root causes,
Justified. She was like misusing the right of tranquility, wasn't she?
You seem to care a great deal about it.
too much, if you ask the rest of my order. When faced with a problem, the
Whoops.
Seekers would close ranks.
Hit my
and
mic.
crush it. We would find an answer, but only once we felt we weren't being coerced. The moment the mages voted for independence, our response was predictable. It was difficult to watch.
How does someone become a Seeker?
Most Seekers begin training in their youth. I was much older, an exception due to my noble birth. We train rigorously for years. Our bodies and minds must be elastic to undergo the vigil, and most fail even then.
Oh no, hang on, what's that?
Is the vigil some kind of initiation?
It is the rite every Seeker must go through in order to summon their gifts. A full year of fasting, prayer, and separation from all distractions.
A year? Jesus
including
Christ.
other people. We empty ourselves of all emotion, focusing only on the purity of our devotion. And the moment it finally ends, it's wonderful. Faith realized. I cannot put it into words.
I wish I could experience that.
If the vigil was not so arduous, I'd say more should attempt it. What if mages never needed to fear possession by demons? I'm told it is impossible, however. I suppose I'll never know the truth.
A year of fasting and separation from the world and no.
I've no more questions.
It's too much. No, I do have more questions. Hang
You
on.
need something?
I'd like to get to know you better.
You would?
Is that a problem?
Not entirely. I'm just curious as to
You asked me questions about myself.
No motivation beyond making things between us less...
Antagonistic?
Exactly.
As you wish. My name is Cassandra Pentecost, daughter of the Royal House of Navarra, 78th in line for the Navarran throne. I joined the
78th?
Seekers of Truth as a young woman, and was with the Order until they withdrew from the Chantry. I remained as the Divine's right hand, carrying out her order to form the Inquisition. And here we are. That's all there is to know, my lady.
Yeah, let's revisit that part right there. That seems
Remember
somewhat important.
Navarra's royal family?
The Pentaghasts are a very large clan. Half of Cumberland could say the same.
Really?
No, but it feels that way. I have hundreds of relatives so distant they need charts to prove we're related at all. And they have them. Oh yes. The Pentaghasts value their precious blood like it runs with gold.
I'm gonna make the assumption that you're not on good terms with
So
your
you're not
homeland.
on very good terms with your family then?
I do not visit, if that's what you mean. The Pentaghasts are famed for dragon hunting, but few actually pursue the craft. Most are fat and lazy. They pay lip service to the Maker and care only for idle pleasures and past glories. My brother was all that kept me in Navarre. Once he was gone, so was I.
And what happened to him?
Tell me about your brother.
Anthony was older than I, a dragon hunter, who showed what a Pentaghast could truly be. I idolized him. I wanted to hunt dragons as he did, even though our uncle forbade it. Anthony promised to train me in secret. We would hunt together one day, brother and sister, vanquishing the beasts of old. And then he died on me.
By the way, that's why you do this conversation last, because if you don't have a high enough approval, she will not talk about this.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pried.
No,
So because
it's fine.
because we want to know
A group
what we
of
can now,
apostates wanted
we do it the way I
dragon
did it.
blood and wanted Anthony to get it for them. He refused, and they killed him for it. In front of me. I begged the Chantry to let me become a Templar. Instead, they sent me to the Seekers. It took many years to let go of my drive for vengeance.
I get it. You were angry and
I
bitter.
understand how you felt.
At times I could not breathe. The rage nearly choked me. I sometimes wonder how different my life would be if Anthony was still alive. Would I be a dragon hunter? Married to some noble fool, a mother of three? I cannot say. I take solace in believing the Maker has a plan, but he is not always kind.
Clearly not. Maybe you might want to go tell Liliana that, because she's taking this rather hard.
You don't seem to like your homeland much.
My family polluted it for me. What little I saw of my homeland was through the bars of a gilded cage. My uncle treated me like a porcelain doll to be placed on a shelf and dusted only when necessary. Thus, I did not see Navarre, the real Navarre, until much later. By then, I realized I knew it not at all.
And where were your parents in all this?
Your uncle? What about your parents?
They had the misfortune of taking the wrong side in the second attempt to overthrow King Marcus. The king executed them, but spared my brother and I since we were family and children at the time. Thus, we were raised by my uncle.
Might need to turn off origin notifications. I don't believe I need those popping up. Not if I can avoid it.
Mortalitasi?
A death mage. He still is. My countrymen do not burn the dead. They bury them in special crypts. The Mortalitasi supervise the crypts, like priests. Uncle Vestalis oversees the grand necropolis. Nevarans spend more time honoring dead relatives than they do with living ones. It is odd to be so fascinated with death and its trappings. I will never understand it.
So you were the right
Now,
one.
tell me about your day job.
Divine Justinia, yes. And Divine Beatrix before her, in fact. The position is normally reserved for Templars of the Knights Divine.
How old are you, and how long was
Unusual.
Justinia divine?
You don't know the story? Thank the Maker. I will tell you if you wish, but it isn't as exciting as some drum it up to be. The short version is that I once saved the previous Divine's life. My reward was becoming her right hand.
And what does that mean exactly?
But what does a right hand do, exactly?
What is your hand capable of? It gives, it takes, it beckons. It makes a fist. Liliana and I extended the Divine's reach beyond the Grand Cathedral. We went where she could not. After Beatrix,
Did
I
what
was
she could
tired of
not.
the position and wanted to return to the Seekers. But Justinia convinced me to stay. Her vision for the future gave me hope.
I would hope that you believed in her
You thought
vision.
you could really change things.
She was like the leader of the religion.
I knew the war was coming long before it began. She tried to avert it, but the forces arrayed against her were too strong. Sometimes you have to break a bone so it can be reset. That's where the Inquisition comes in. It was to be the answer. A means to preserve as well as an agent for change. I only wish she had lived to see it.
Yeah, how'd you get the job? Tell me about that.
What's the story about you becoming the right hand?
Sweet Andraste, do you really want to hear that? It was, what, 18, 20 years ago? Some still discuss it like it happened yesterday. The tale gets bigger each time it's told. I barely recognize myself within it now.
I'm sure you're being a bit modest there. I'm sure you had a large role to play.
I was there. I think I know what happened. To hear others tell it, I alone saved Divine Beatrix from a horde of dragons sent to assault the Grand Cathedral. Rather impressive for such a young seeker, wouldn't you say?
And the truth is?
I stumbled upon a conspiracy to kill Beatrix. A Templar Knight Commander was at its heart, and there was a dragon battle at the Grand Cathedral, but I had help from loyal mages who rallied to the cause. They freed the dragons from magical control. Without them, the Divine and I would both have died. Yet I became the right hand, and they are forgotten.
What happened to them?
What happened to the mages that helped you?
They went back to their circles, with rewards and privileges and most holy gratitude. Many of them died at the conquest.
Oh, that's a shame. Now let's compliment you again.
You're delightful. You know that.
No, I do not know that.
Oh, you know it now.
I object. There is nothing delightful about me.
I beg to differ.
I think I preferred you in the stocks.
Was I in the stocks? I know you had me in really weird handcuffs, but I don't think you had me in the stocks. Okay, let's go do a quick lap around here again, picking up some more materials. Especially because we used a lot of our elf root last session. Get some more iron, then we'll make a quick trip to the Black Emporium because we need to fix our eyelashes and buy a few schematics, which will be the extent of my quote-unquote exploiting for tonight. Everything else will be saved for off camera. But I do want to go ahead and get some schematics while we're able to tonight. That is to some degree important, to me at least. Okay, we can stop recording after we hit the 2-hour 20-minute mark because of the 20 minutes it took me to get the game running tonight. And I was recording during all of that too, so it's 20 minutes of nothing footage I need to cut out later on. Hopefully we won't have this problem again next time we record though. Hopefully I managed to fix it, because believe me, it was rather annoying trying to get it to work right. Give me all the iron. Give me all the elf root. We're not going to worry about getting any ram leather or Druffalo hide tonight. That's stuff we don't need to worry about right now. Not when we're recording. That can wait until I'm... Oh. That can wait.